So on this first one, I have a 12x minus 2 is less than negative 5x plus 36. The first thing I need to do is gather my x's across the equal sign. So I take the smallest one, in this case is the negative 5x, and I'm going to add it over to the 12x. That's going to cancel on this side. Then simplify. 12x plus 5x is 17x. Bring down the 2. I didn't multiply or divide by negative, so the sign stays the same, and bring down the 36. From here, it's a two-step problem. You should be able to do this one. Add 2, add 2. We'll get 17x is less than 38. And when I divide by 17, you get x is less than 38 over 17. On this quiz, there are a lot of fractions. You can just keep them as fractions. So I know 38 over 17 might look intimidating, it might look wrong. Just double check your work. But it's not that hard to enter in the 38 over 17 in Khan Academy. Okay, I just did it. I just took the quiz myself. All right, number 2. Want you guys to start on that. See if you can do it here first before I jump in and do it with you. All right, with the or and, the compound inequalities, you just do them separately. So we'll do this first one, subtract over 7. This is just a two-step. Bring down the 12x, the positive 7, negative 7, cancel on that side. Bring down the 12x. 12x is less than negative 18. Divide by 12. Now I didn't divide by a negative, even though negative 18 is negative. It's whatever you divide by or multiply by. That has to be negative in order for you to switch the sign. It's not negative, so you don't have to switch the sign. You're left with negative 18 over 12. Negative 18 over 12 can be simplified, so go ahead and do that. 6 goes into both. 6 goes into negative 18, makes it negative 3, and 6 goes into 12 2 times. Next one over here, we'll add 48, or sorry, add 8. Now give me 48. Again, I noticed a lot of fractions and whatnot on this quiz. Don't let it intimidate you. 48 over 5 can't be simplified. So you're just left with x is greater than 48 over 5. So you have x is less than negative 3 over 2, or x is greater than 48 over 5. So both of those things can be true. Since it's an or, it can be less than that negative 3 over 2, or it can be greater than the 48 over 5. Can't be anything in the middle, though. All right, so those two inequalities are the answer then. All right, next one. A little bit hard to see here, but I think we've done this one before, actually. The price of a train ticket consists of an initial $5 fee plus a fee of $2.75 per stop. Julia has $21 and would like to travel 50 kilometers. She wants to know the largest number of stops she can afford to buy on a ticket. So the most money she has, or the amount of money she has, $21. So whatever she spends, when I'm setting up an inequality or an equation, like whatever's going to be over here, whatever she spends, has to be less than or equal to 21. If it's more than 21, well, she don't have the money to pay for it. It's got to be less than or equal to 21. Whatever she spends, whatever's over here. All right, let's figure out what's over there. Well, we read through it. It's got a $5 fee no matter what, and $2.75 per stop, per S. So there's only one option that makes sense there, only one that matches up. Then there is this follow-up question. So on the bottom it says, what is the largest number of stops that Julia can afford? To solve this one, you just have to solve it. So I'm going to subtract over 5, get 275. S is less than or equal to 16. And I'll divide both sides by 275. So S has to be less than or equal to, these are the number of stops, 16 divided by 2.75. And I got 5.81 repeating. So the stops has to be less than 5.81. So what is the largest number of stops that Julia can afford? Keep in mind you can't have like a fraction of a stop, right? You can't just like stop once and be like, oh, that was only half a stop. So this answer has to be a whole number. Because when you stop, that's a stop. There is no partial stop. So what would the answer be here? How many stops? S has to be less than or equal to 5.81. So what's the whole number there? Fellas, what do you think? Jackson, what do you think? So yeah, 5 is less than 5.81, so she can make 5 stops. Although she can afford the 5.81 stops, the 0.81 doesn't make sense. You can't make 0.81 stops. You either stopped or you didn't. So you'll have at least one similar to that on the quiz. Couple more just inequalities. Again, you'll have some fractions here, so just leave them as a fraction, simplify them. Why don't you guys try these before I jump in? All right, let me jump in. So kind of some big numbers here. Not huge, I guess. Those are B's up there. I got to get my B's together across that inequality symbol, the less than or equal to symbol. So the first thing I would do is subtract over the 9B. Subtract that over to the 67B. And that should be 76. So a negative 76B. Double check that. So I'm going to subtract over the 9B. Negative 76B plus 6 is less than or equal to 43. subtract over the 6. Now I'm dividing by negative 76. When I divide by a negative, that switches that sign. So B is going to be greater than or equal to now a negative 37 over 76. 37 is prime. 37 doesn't go into 76. So an ugly fraction, but it's correct. All right, last one here, and then there's a quiz on Khan Academy. So I'm going to subtract over 39. These are just 2 steps. Should be able to do this. So then that's 14. Divide by 7. X is greater than or equal to 2. On this other side, subtract 15, and I'll get 16x is greater than 16, so x would be greater than 1. Since this is an AND, my solution set has to satisfy both of these inequalities, so an x that's greater than or equal to 2 and greater than 1. So it's got to be greater than 2. Well, 1... over here, this set is already, 1 is not greater than 2. You know, anything that satisfies this but doesn't satisfy that x is greater than or equal to 2 is not part of our solution set because it's got to satisfy both. So that x is greater than 1 doesn't really do anything for us since it's an AND. So my answer would just be that x is greater than or equal to 2. This doesn't do a lot for us. Alright, I'm going to assign the Khan Academy. You guys can do that. Remember, you can do it as many times as you need to, so redo it if you don't get a good score. And that's your assignment.